Okay, hi. So I'm just gonna do this really quick stuff about breakpoints and stepping. Has anyone ever tried to step before? Has anyone had a good time doing it before? Okay, better. And I just talked to Yuho before this, who is the implementer of the current step implementation, and he gave the okay to say unkind things. So how do I scroll? Okay, yeah, let's go. Use the arrows. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a quick history of what the breakpoints and stepping is like. So as most people know, SBCL comes from CMUCL, and for a while it had breakpoints and stepping debugger commands, which it didn't have for a long time again. So what these did is you can list all the code locations in your function, like all the forms in the function, and then you could set breakpoints. And you didn't have to recompile or anything. So you didn't have to recompile a function that had break in it. You just looked at it, and then you set a breakpoint. Just like if you use GDB, you can set a breakpoint on lines. So it was based on hardware traps. So it just inserts a break. It modifies the code, inserts a break instruction. That's what's implemented. So yeah, no extra instrumentation. It's based on debug info, so it wouldn't make your code slow or anything. It didn't increase code space. And there was a small stepper based on this, where it just stepped to the next code location. We're using this support, so no instrumentation. Except the stepper didn't have step-in support, so you couldn't step into function calls, but otherwise it's pretty simple. I looked in the CMUCL sources. It even had Hemlock editor integration, so Hemlock was this old thing in the 90s people used that is like kind of slime now, but you could like think GDB support in Emacs. You can like say, okay, I want breakpoint here, graphical, it was all cool. So then in 2004, these things were just removed for, I honestly don't know why, but I looked at the commit. I think it was because it was broken, because there was one constant that was wrong and people couldn't figure out how to fix it, so they just removed everything. Great. And then in this void, there was a new stepper added, and the breakpoint commands, they just never were restored. So the first one was instrumentation based. It would make your code bigger, blah, blah, blah. I think then Yuho created the current one, which is instrumentation and trap based. It's less slow, but now you still have instrumentation. And it does have step-in support, so that is a big improvement on the old one. But I was thinking, okay, well, the old implementation didn't have any overhead. So maybe let's add that back. And it had breakpoint commands. So then if you use the latest SBCL, so I think maybe 2 months ago, I added these breakpoint commands again. And stepper, it doesn't have step-in support again. And some platforms have problems with breakpoints, so I fixed all those problems. In ARM, you can also add breakpoints now. So even if you have a debug1 function, the new stepper, the current stepper, the one that's existed since 2004, you also have to have everything on debug 3 because it's instrumentation based. If you use the new old stepper, debug 1 is okay. So yeah, it's really no instrumentation added. It just uses the existing debug info. Now I'm working on adding step-in support because it's possible. It's conceptually possible. It just wasn't done in the old implementation. And it can even do things like, it could theoretically do things for local functions, which the current stepper that does step-in can't do. And it can do more than the current stepper does, theoretically, and also with less overhead, and on debug 1. And it doesn't cause anything slower. But what I really want to ask people here is, I don't know anything about graphical interfaces, but some of you do. And so I want graphical user interface support for this. Like think your IntelliJ, whatever, set a breakpoint. That would be great. So I already talked to Luis. I think he volunteered to have something ready for tomorrow. Or maybe next year is what he said. Okay, but please help. And then I was going to show a demo, but it's going to take too much time anyway. So yeah, people who are interested, I can show you how these things work. It's also, there's a manual thing on it, so you can look in the manual, and it has a listing of how to use this stuff. I think it's cool. And you can ask me to show you, because I have it working on my laptop. And because there were so many job ads today, I was going to say, I'm looking for a job. I'm available for hire. If you ever wanted an SBCL developer compiler person, I think I'm okay at the Lisp thing. So sounds like if you want people like that, then you can talk to me later. Okay, great. That's my lightning talk.